Hi, I'm Desmond, and today I'll be doing one of those lists of disturbing movies. I've tried to think of some movies that I don't usually see on these lists, but inevitably some of them will probably be familiar to you. Hopefully some of them you'll be hearing about for the first time, and maybe you'll check them out. Number 10. Ma Mère tells the story of a young man with an unhealthy fixation on his mother, played by Isabelle Huppert, who can always be counted on to turn up in the kind of movies that make it onto these lists of disturbing movies. She tries to distract him by introducing him to other women, promiscuous women, but alas, he would rather just hang out with Mom. The movie is an uncomfortable watch all the way through, with about as messed up an ending as you're likely to find. If the TV series Bates Motel had been more like this, it would have been cancelled after the first episode. Number 9. In Bad Guy, a man meets a woman who rejects him, and offended by her thinking that she's too good for him, he embarks upon a plan to ruin her life and make it impossible for her to ever think that she's too good for anyone ever again. This is a serious cringe-a-thon creep-fest, made even more so by the direction their relationship ultimately takes. Introducing tenderness into this dark and ugly story just makes it all the more unsettling. Number 8. In Sleeping Dogs Lie, the real Don Draper's wife, or rather the actress who played her, decides that honesty is the best policy, and having learned nothing from Depeche Mode's song Policy of Truth, decides to be completely open and honest about her past. A past that includes the thing that makes this movie so very messed up. I'm not going to tell you what she did, but trust me, what seems to be the stuff of outrageous shock comedy, the movie was written and directed by Bobcat Goldthwait, becomes instead a serious look at the repercussions of too much truth. Within the first few minutes of the movie, you'll be saying, ew, and if you watch it with your partner, neither of you will be in the mood later. At least I hope not. Number 7. The Night Porter. Not so much the imagery with this one, although there's certainly plenty of that. This one lands on the list for the subject matter. A woman who, several years after being imprisoned and tortured in a concentration camp, checks into a hotel and discovers that one of her former captors and torturers is working the front desk, a Nazi in hiding. If you're thinking that this sounds like the setup to a story of revenge, go watch a Liam Neeson movie. This is art house cinema, and in art house cinema, what I just described, well, that's what in any other movie they would call a meet-cute. Because this is a movie about the rekindling of their love. Wait, what? Really? Yes, really. Just messed up. Number 6. I think there's a rule that says that Lars von Trier's Antichrist has to appear on any list of disturbing movies, and so here it is, Antichrist, starring Willem Dafoe and Charlotte Gainsbourg as a married couple in crisis who head out to the woods to process their grief, where the wife decides that the misogynist witch-burners of the past that she once wrote about were right, and among other horrific crotch-area-based things she does after coming to this conclusion, reinvents the wheel with her husband's leg. I guess you could call him Willem Dafoe. Sorry, couldn't resist. Number 5. Ingmar Bergman's Cries and Whispers is a hard-to-watch viewing experience. It's the subject matter, it's the overall tone of the piece, it's just uncomfortable. Two sisters are waiting for a third sister to die, and she's dying slowly and miserably, and it takes the whole movie for her to do it. An endurance test for sure, with a scene of shocking self-harm. It's also, in my opinion, one of Bergman's best films. Number 4. The War Zone, directed by Tim Roth, will be hard to sit through for some viewers, but this is a disturbing movies list, so you probably already knew that. Anyway, when a son catches a glimpse through a window that reveals a dark family secret involving his sister, things turn bleaker than bleak for everyone involved. Starring a young and very pregnant Tilda Swinton as the young and very pregnant mother, this one will make you feel things. Anger, disgust, moral outrage. Ray Winstone plays the father in the kind of role that one imagines agents tell actors to stay far away from, but they never listen. Number 3. In the Realm of the Senses. And so why not have a love story on this list? A love story about a woman who, how can I put it, absconds with one of her lover's most prized possessions. Beautifully shot, hypnotically paced, and oddly, in a twisted, screwed-up, what-the-fuck sort of way, romantic. Crazy people in love. Hide the cutlery. Speaking of cutlery, The Piano Teacher is another disturbing movie starring Isabelle Huppert. Of course it is. If you liked the Oedipal issues between the daughter and her mother in Black Swan, this movie is kind of like that. If you liked the self-harm scene in Cries and Whispers, there's a similar scene here. So much disturbing stuff. But the biggest cringe for me is the scene where she sniffs the tissue. In the TV show Mad Men, Peggy refers to a garbage can filled with lipstick-stained tissues as a basket of kisses. I have no idea what she would call the garbage can from which Isabelle Huppert's character retrieves that tissue, but I doubt they would be selling any lipstick with it. Which brings us to number 1. Come and See. At the beginning of Come and See, one of the most harrowing war movies ever made, seriously, you have no idea, a young boy, rifle in hand, is enthusiastic to leave his family and head off to war. By the end, his enthusiasm is gone, replaced by a trauma only slightly worse than the one that you will likely feel should you decide to watch this film, which you should. It's an excellent movie, and gets one of my highest recommendations, but it is a vision of hell, and some of the images will stay with you forever, including a surprisingly beautiful evocation of joy in the aftermath of a terrifying bombing in the forest, made even more poignant by the absolute nightmare of the world in which it takes place. And that's it for this video. As always, if you liked it, remember to click like, and if you didn't like it, click like ironically, and I'll see you in the next one.